So, on April 14th, after 4 months missing, a female torso washes up on shore in the Berkeley Marina. Then a baby body a mile down the shore washed up too, within a couple of days of each other. Imagine the likelihood of that happening. Sharon said she heard footsteps walking up to her door that day, and she knew what they were coming for. So she didn't answer it. She kept doing, I think, something in the kitchen. And when she didn't answer, they walked around the back and they saw her. And so she couldn't avoid it. And so they told her what she had been waiting to hear for pretty much, I think, 4 months. Scott was arrested on April 18th at a golf course. They found camping gear, $15,000 cash in his car, 4 cell phones, his brother's ID. He had dyed his hair blonde, and he had a blonde goatee as well. Headed to Mexico, it appeared, perhaps in flight. Fast forward, he was put on trial, and he was found guilty of murder in August of 2004, I believe, in the deaths of Laci and baby Connor. And going back through the case, I told you I like to focus on these cases. I love watching crime cases, and I love learning about the person and learning about their life and remembering the person for more than this case. And Laci's mom says, please remember Laci as a living person, and she had a life. It wasn't just about being a murder victim. But I think going back and thinking about what we can learn from it is really important, because there is something to learn from every one of these cases. One of the red flags to me about the mental health issues that go back in their family is with his mom's mental health. And Jackie's mom was put into a mental hospital after her dad died when Jackie was 2. That the mom just lost it and couldn't handle a lot of children. I forgot exactly how many, but they were put all into an orphanage when Jackie was really young. And so she was separated from all of her family. Her dad had died, and then she was put in an orphanage. I think until she was like 10 or 12, and then she went back with her mother maybe. And then she had this odd kind of theme in her life where she would get pregnant and then give the baby up for adoption. And she did it like 2 or 3 times. But I'm not sure exactly about the daughter, the third daughter that talks and gives interviews for the documentaries. I don't know if she was given up for adoption or if she was kept. I can't remember. But finally, she had Scott. And what her mental history tells is that she was rejected and neglected as a child. She never felt truly loved, probably until she married Lee, Scott's dad. And with him, they had Scott. And they called him their golden boy. She overcompensated, obviously, for her neglect as a child. And so doting on him and, tried to compensate for her rejection and putting him on a pedestal and not wanting to admit what he did when he did things wrong. I have a feeling that if you go back, I wonder if they were difficult, the Petersons, to deal with, if Scott got into trouble at school at all. He was supposedly a rule follower, but obviously not so much. I'm sure he did some insidious stuff at school that his teachers saw it. I wonder, would his parents believe what I wonder how they were as parents with teachers, because I have a feeling they wouldn't believe. I had so many parents that just wouldn't believe when I would tell them their kid would lie. They go, my kid doesn't lie. What? Boy, they are going to have a lot to learn as they keep parenting. And as a child, I taught 4th grade, and my kid doesn't lie. I cannot wait for 16 in your household. But so Jackie brings all this baggage into her relationship with Lee and having this son, and they don't want to see anything but perfection with Scott, and it's hard to accept any other truth other than absolute perfection. The way he looked, he was smart, he was their golden boy. And someone that's a golden boy would never be able to commit murder. And along with his narcissist, selfish behavior that everybody witnessed through those months of searching, and someone who could put people through that. Put all the detectives and the police department and the families and the volunteers, and just watch him coming in and being part of your masquerade. He has no feeling for anyone except Scott. I don't know. He was just, along with his narcissist behavior and the selfish narcissism, the grotesque nurturing factor from his parents helped create this person who is able to hurt someone like Laci. So I like to think about the lessons that we're learning from this, because there are so many lessons to be learned from Laci's life. And one of the lessons I have learned from this is be real with the people in your life. Laci has some beautiful friends, Lori, Stacy, and I can't remember the other one. Those 3 friends that sat on the couch in the Netflix documentary, and they loved Laci, and you would have thought they were like sisters. But one of the things they said was, we did not know. One thing that I noticed about Sharon Rocha, who I love to death, I love that woman. I wish I could meet her someday, because and tell her how many nights and how many tears and how many prayers I've said for her daughter and her. But anyway, I love that woman. But I can tell there's something about Sharon I've noticed, and that is she likes to keep up appearances. No matter what was going on in those early days of Laci being missing, Sharon had her makeup done. Sharon had her hair done. She looked perfect, beautiful. And it's hard to be a kid for somebody like that sometimes. And I think Laci probably learned that you put a facade up, and that's how you handle things, and you don't give away too much information that things aren't going just perfect. I know that because, as a young wife and mother, I would do that too. Something about, my house needs to look a certain way, and my kids need to be dressed a certain way, and we need to have this certain car, and it's just a certain lifestyle you have. I guess in your mid-20s to maybe mid-30s. I don't know. I guess it's different for different people. I'm just talking about young married folk. I was the same age as her and going through the same time with, wanting kids and everything. But anyway, I feel like she learned not to look, how to put her makeup on, put her face on, look good, get her hair done, and, and take pride in your appearance. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I have no problem with that at all. I was taught that. And women do teach that to their daughters. But it's something that should probably change. And so it's something we can learn and change, which is, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to tell your friends, I don't feel good today. Scott's really an asshole. Do you know what he said to me last night? Do you know what he did? I think he could be seeing somebody. I don't know, but, he's been gone, and he doesn't want to make love to me. He doesn't want to be affectionate. He doesn't want to feel the baby kick. Who did she tell that stuff to? I don't think she told that to anything, and she had to have been seeing those signs. And I feel for her, what she was going through those last few weeks of her life, because I know she had an idea with him being gone and probably just even being more cold than he already probably was. I mean, what a marriage to be married, to have been married to him. She really probably never really told anybody the real truth about what kind of person that he really is. Okay, so we can learn to be real and to be vulnerable with our friends and let them know what's going on with us and how we're feeling in our marriage or in our relationship. Women need to pull down the barriers, and we need to learn to be real in our authentic self, and we can rule the world. Other pregnant women who have been murdered come to mind for me. Sharon Watts. There's a lot of similar personality characteristics in Chris Watts and Scott Peterson. That is an interesting thing to do. If I were you, it would be my kind of fun thing if you like to have educational experiences. Do a Venn diagram and compare Chris Watts to Scott Peterson. What are differences and what are the same? That would be interesting. I've looked up some percentages to share with you. Of all femicide cases women killed in high-income countries such as the U.S., 70% occur in the U.S. 70% of femicide cases where women are killed by their significant other. In the U.S. also, almost 3 women are killed by an intimate partner every day. 3 women killed by an intimate partner every day. I got that from Sanctuary for Families in their 2018 study. I think Laci made such an impact on me and the rest of the world because we got to see her being herself. We got to see her being her authentic, happy, family-loving self in those videos and those pictures. And we got to see intimate details of her home. Her mother was so forthcoming and so, boy, that was a hard way to learn, to have to pull down your guard for Sharon to learn in that situation. Dang. But I could relate to Laci when, she was a teenager in the 80s and 90s. There was one of the videos where she's loving on this little baby that Sharon's holding, and she's rubbing its back, and she's wiping something off its face, and at one point you can just see in her eyes this desire that she wants to hold that baby. And I know if she's showing that desire to hold that baby, I think maybe her nephew, that desire to have that baby was so strong in her. And she was so happy that she was pregnant and having a baby. And when you have wanted to have a baby and you find out you're pregnant and it's a struggle, it is like winning the lottery. And she got to experience that. I remember that maternal instinct kicking in really high gear in my mid-20s, just like Laci. And I wanted a baby so badly. And that's what Laci wanted. She wanted to have a baby so bad. And Scott took that from her. They placed the baby body in with her torso in the casket. And she got to be buried with Connor in the casket with her. But that's not, giving birth to him and raising him and seeing all his firsts and getting to be there for all his birthday parties and his first dates, and then sending him off to college and missing him because he's off at college. She never got to experience that, and Scott took that from her. And Scott's exactly where he needs to be. And there's a lot of people who need to be in jail for hurting women. And we need to start making sure that they're held accountable. So there's a lot of things to learn from Laci Peterson's life. And don't forget her, because her story teaches everybody to enjoy and take advantage of our life every day and the people that we love, to let them know that we love them every day, because you never know when it's the last, and who you're going to meet who will take that away from you. So guess what? It's okay to be angry when you find out that the U.S. leads the nation in femicide deaths, the world. So let's think about that one. Ladies, it's okay to feel angry, because guess what? Are we really angry and bitter, or opinionated?